They say I'm live out here in these streets. I have to laugh at Stacks. I think I see him around here. He always comments, man, you ain't in no streets. I'm in these digital streets, fam. I'm in these digital streets. What's good, beautiful people? What's happening with you? I just restarted my computer, so no resources are being taken from anything else. That I am. I am live. All right. Yeah, what's happening? Let me see who all in here. Who all in here? Prepping aquaponics, communications, and solar. I believe I ain't gonna put your business out in the streets. You feel what I'm saying? So if you want to stay, siloed up, it's good to see you, Pax. What's happening? Hey, MJ. Sir, what's going on, Joe Tyson? Always good to see you. Kimber Jack, always good. AC 200P at 629, sold out. They were in stock for 18 hours. They have 3 refurb AC 200 units left at 569 minus a $32 coupon. On the site, the AC 200 is lithium ion based pouch cells with 2,000 cycles. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. AliExpress Bluetti store. She working on it. What y'all snapping into? What's going on, Indiana Jackson? Dominique Unique, Mad Call, LA Times. What's happening? Yvette, good to see you. Leela Presti, you got this. It doesn't show me the little whatever. What's going on, Brandon? Nathan. Greetings, everyone. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send Day One Fishing a message and let him know I'm on here. I'm out here in these live streets, bro. A little later for you West Coast cats. I had you and Stacks in mind. All right. We're about good 2 minutes in. All right. So good to have you guys here. I wanted to give you an update. So I bought, James mentioned it, I bought an AC 200P today. One, it was refurbished, right? 2, I got that 24 volt panel, which rests at about 40 volts. So I'm good to go there. It came up, actually, B3 Outdoors sent me an email to let me know that they were in stock. So I hurried up and grabbed one. Yeah. I know the first thing that comes to mind for me is like, why don't you tell everybody? Just keep it a buck. I told a couple people who I know have been wanting to get one for a while. There was only like 6 in stock. So I didn't want to make a post about it and then nobody be able to get one. Because I bought one, you know what I mean? It's like, so I didn't go through the process of making a post, but I would have made the post on Patreon first. And it wouldn't have necessarily been a paid post. I keep explaining it. I've explained it a couple of times. I shouldn't say I keep explaining it. Patreon is for creators who have people who want to support them in their creativity to help them continue to make content or whatever. And for that support, we give those people perks, right? Actually, one of the perks on there now, it's not a perk. One of the things that's on there now, because you can pay and you can make posts and things specifically to certain tiers, and then you can make public posts. I typically make public posts because I'm still kind of finding my way with it. I have about 6 patrons, which I am incredibly thankful for. But I would have posted it over there first. So one of the things that I have over there is an early access video about the Renogy 320 and its watt output. So I posted on Instagram like, hey, I have this video over there early. Y'all go find me on Patreon. You can check the video out. Same thing goes for here. After the live is over, you can go find me on Patreon. You can watch that video early. I don't believe it's a paid post. I think I made it public. And it was a cool video. But anyway, I would have shared it there first because it was so limited, but I didn't get a chance to share it over there first. I shared it with like 2 people that I know who have been trying to get one. Um, and I kept it moving. But I'm glad I got one. I'm glad B3 Outdoors shared it with me. The guy, I forget what his name is. He's in here now under the same thing. I don't know if he knows if I know that or not, but it's Jimbo Kimbo. He put a comment on my page as well. I appreciate that, sir, because I know you didn't necessarily like how I'll handle stuff on the last live, but I appreciate you still sharing that information with me. B3 had already shared it with me, but I'm thankful nonetheless. It was like 670. I used PayPal to buy it. That's neither here nor there. I was going to just use a credit card. I didn't use to split it into 4 because that wasn't necessarily beneficial to me. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I haven't even given thought to how I would finagle that whole system and what I would do with it. The first thing that's important to me is whether or not I'm going to get it because I have a skeptical kind of like it's not real to me until I see it. I'm not a cynic, but I'm also not an optimist. So when it hits my doorstep, then I'll be excited about it. See what y'all snapping and trapping about. What's going on, CJ Loyola? CJ, I appreciate your comments so much. I don't always agree with them. I very often agree with them, but you know, like we have good dialogue. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. Joe Trot, what's happening? 2%, good to see you. I'm still thinking about your solar panel 2%. We're gonna figure something out. I actually thought about if Agwe sent me the panel, the panel that they were saying they were gonna send me. I thought about just giving it to you because it's gonna come with the 8mm adapter that you'll need. So that's something. I'll email them to follow up with them just so I don't slack because it's not necessarily gonna benefit me. Boom, 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 boom. Setite is here. Did you guys go and check out Setite's video where he was comparing the EB70 and the 70S? I made a community tab post about it, but the community tab post is controlled algorithmically. I'm going to presume they don't show it to everybody. So what you kind of want to do is if you want to be in the loop, you want to make sure you interact with the community post. Interact with them, give them the thumbs up, comment, you know, all that jazz. And then YouTube will keep showing you those things unless you turn off the ability to see community posts, which I do sometimes because I get annoyed with them. But I don't like that YouTube does that, which is why I like the idea of Patreon and having public posts over there. I've been trying to get people to go over to Patreon to make sure that they check over there to see what's happening. There will be this kind of like split between like paid posts. I keep saying paid posts, but they're like perks for people who support the channel. And then there'll be public posts. That way you can go there and see what's going on and you don't have to worry about YouTube showing it to you. But if you want YouTube to show you this stuff, this is where I have the most reach, then you want to make sure you're interacting with the community posts. Is the feed really low quality for anyone? It's looking 240p even when I set it to 720. That's interesting. I got all these kids on these streams. Let me see what I'm connected to. I'm connected to the right thing. And it's showing that my quality is low. If you're on Wi-Fi, try plugging into your router. I can't hold you right now, mama. So it could be the quality of the stream is just not good. My bad. That sucks. Hey, babe, can you do me a favor? It's a little involved. I don't want to hold you right now, mama. The router is over there on the right side of the TV. Can you move it more so over to the left side so that it's not being blocked behind the TV? I think y'all up with these videos are eating up all the bandwidth. Yeah, please. Let's see if that. Yes. I don't even see. I don't see the Wi-Fi. The huh? I don't see the little thing anymore. Did it get better? It just got better the moment he noticed it, I think. Okay, okay. Thanks for letting me know that. Because these kids is on they have their screen time right now, so they're probably chewing through all the bandwidth with the YouTubes. Makes sense. That is what Patreon is for, to get that first notice information. That's what's up. Yes, indeed. Okay, it's back now. Dang it. Shoot. Let me think this through for a second. Bear with me. Now my wife is about to watch TV. I don't know what to do. The internet should be fairly fast. I have FiOS. Um, I don't know. I don't know, guys. We're just gonna have to power through it. Let me see. How do I get this from around here? That quality stuff throws me off my game. I don't usually have to deal with that, but it looks like I have to deal with it tonight. It could also be the time at which I'm doing the streaming, right? I don't know. I don't know. This bugs me. I gotta just move on. Did you all? I did not see the review of Jasonoid's battery that heats itself when necessary. I did not see that. I don't know if I'll watch it. I may watch it just to support their channel, but I'm not into the batteries. Code had asked how much for the Refurb AC200P. It was like 630. It came up to 670 after tax or whatever. God dog it. What wish this thing would go away? Hey babe, I need another favor. Can you see if you can set the boys' quality on their phones to something a little lower? They should have an option in each of them if they're all on YouTube. It would be in the settings on the video itself, like up in the top right corner. You should be able to set it to like 480 or something like that. Yeah. If it just has words like higher, lower, then set it to like lower. Now I'm gonna have to test and see how fast my tethering stream is, because I may have to start doing that, especially if I'm going to do it during their screen time, which is when I'm doing it right now. Dang it, that bugged me. Okay, can y'all at least hear me? Because at this point, I'm gonna have to make myself move on. I did buy one. I'm going back in the comments. My bad. All right, B3 knows what's up. Let's see. You got to hardwire that laptop. I don't even have an Ethernet port. I would have to go like USB to Ethernet. I have a Wi-Fi extender, but a Wi-Fi extender kind of halves your throughput. But I could go wired off of that. But at that point, like, what are we really doing here? I'm gonna have to think about that. I don't know if I have a long enough Ethernet cable, so I could steal the bandwidth. I really have to process that, because I have this little adapter. My screen is supposed to be lit up right now, and it has Ethernet on it, but it's a USB adapter, and I don't believe it's 3. Yeah, it is 3.0. So I'm sorry for the techno jargon, guys. In the future, maybe play with the router's quality of service settings, maybe prioritize your streaming setup so it gets. I tried quality of service a long time ago, and this was back when D-Link made the little routers. I had that stuff because, back then cable internet was just wired. So you had to like provide your own router. I tried that. I did back when like Xbox Live was first coming out on the first generation Xbox. I didn't have a good experience with it, but that's 20 years ago, right? So I may have to try that again. I wonder if my FiOS router has quality of service. talk less and the quality goes up as less is streaming. It's still up here too. This sucks. God dog it. Maybe your router is too low quality. Make sure you're getting the speed for which you are billed. Yeah, it does pretty good. It's actually the newest one from Fios. All right, so I bought the AC 200p. Hopefully it makes it to my doorstep at some point in the future. They said it was shipping from the US, so that's a good sign, I hope. They did send me an email about the purchase, and they were like, make sure that you have to, anyway, I won't even get into that because I don't think it's relevant, but hopefully it has shipped from the US territories and not somewhere overseas, but we'll see. Now, what would I do with that thing, man? I don't know. It's going to be a fun time. I still have my same hangups with the AC 200p, the fact that it only has a 60 watt PD port. It needs the series or a 24 volt panel to meet that 35 volt requirement, which I have covered. I have covered in so many ways now because I have all these panels. Actually, a quick blip. No, I'm going to save that for a second. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I can't lie. I got the EB120 down there that is capable of getting 500 watts. The AC200p is capable of getting 700 watts of solar. I think you can actually give it more solar with the DC box that can put in 500 watts of solar from it itself. I don't think that's something that I would do, but it's nice to know that that's an option. I'm interested in Jason Noid's because he did a review on the AC200p where he talked about the fact that you can you can put it on 12 volt and charge it from a single solar panel. Now, I asked him about that, and he was like, he had to do some more testing. So I wouldn't say that that's something that is bulletproof, but it's interesting that that's an option because it makes perfect sense. 12 to 30 volts on the 12 volt setting. And, you know, you could put a single panel on there. I think that that's pretty dope, up to like 8 amps, which is kind of like dealing with the, what's the thing, the EB70, right? It's that 8 amp input limit. I think he said it was like 8 point something amps. Anywho, I have a little more security in my solar system because I have that 2000 watt inverter. So it's pretty much nothing that I couldn't run off of my solar generator outside of stuff that you can't run off of a 20 amp switch anyway, which is like your dryer and your heater. But everything else, I feel like my AC should work. Heaters should work, even though I wouldn't use a 1500 watt heater. I have like a 200 watt heater. I also have a 400 watt heater. Yeah, it's a good time, man. It's a good time. Will you consider the DC enhancer now? I don't think so. I can't see a benefit to that. The only benefit I can see practically for me is that it goes from MC4 to 8mm, I believe, is the charging port on the 200p, which is compelling. I haven't figured out in my brain how that will be useful to me, but I like, let's say I paid $670 for it, and let's say for some reason my solar port breaks. Just some odd reason. It's comforting to know that I will at least have an alternative, that my device wouldn't be dead in the water. Oh man, that's terrible. Wayne is showing me the video quality. Listen, y'all, I'm gonna hate watching this video back. So I know, well, I don't know if it sucks for y'all, but this is annoying. Let's see. I'm almost willing to try. I wonder what happens if you disconnect. I'm willing to try my tethering to see if that's better. I'm gonna give that a shot. This is gonna annoy me to no end. So if I get disconnected, y'all know why. I'll just fire another one back up. I hope that StreamYard is a little more advanced than just dropping it out and not being able to reconnect, because I think that's how YouTube would do you. You know what, babe? So what I could do is I could put my boys on my tethering, right? But then Dell's still watching TV. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try connecting myself. Leave it alone. We can see you. I like to watch myself in good quality too, Yvette. Dang it. Hey, babe. Dell, can I bother you one more time? Okay. Can you connect the boys to my Wi-Fi hotspot? So they'll be on that, and then maybe I'll get some love here with some the 3Gs and the Wi-Fi's. Oh man. Listen, listen, man, it's not good. I saw it. It's trash. And the alert is still up here. All right, so look. B3, okay. B3 says I ordered my renewed Blue Eddy March 14th and it was delivered March 23rd. Listen, I want to be as lucky as you are. I definitely I want to be in that number. As the T ejects up. Oh, okay. As the T ejects into the 8mm barrel plug input that is on the side of the AC 200p. Okay, hold on. Does it go through the AC port? Yeah. Okay, boom. After watching Prepping on the Creek's video, I plan to get one. Nice. Prepping on the Creek is a YouTube channel that I like. I just watched this transfer switch one. I have seen his DC, whatever. I couldn't really internalize the data as much. Sometimes I'm a real hands-on kind of person. Until I have it in hand, my brain doesn't go through the process of like, okay, how is this practical to me? I had to rewatch reviews of the AC 200p because I bought one, because then that'll refresh me. Because if I don't have something, then I move through it casually. Everything good with them with the connecting? So his got slow being connected to X. You're not going to be able to connect them to yours because yours is the same name as our Wi-Fi hotspots are all the same name. And I restarted right before I started the stream. I know I'm gonna stop mentioning it, but my brain is not gonna be able to move on. LVP, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Ah, she's out of town. As long as I can hear, I'm good. That's what's up. I dig that. Okay. Jesse, I have an EcoFlow River on order, and I was wondering, can I connect any solar panel to it, or does it have to be the Eco brand? It does not have to be the Eco brand. They're actually going to give you the MC4 to XT60 cable. You could connect any panel to it that is 12 volt, and that has MC4 connectors on it, right? So you use whatever you want. Hey, I can. Good to see you. Hey, got my EcoFlow River in today. Thanks for the recommendation. You're welcome, man. I put your link to your site in the last stream, and then at some point in the future, I'm gonna make a post. Bean has a company where he works for himself. You know, that good old American, where he sells panels. He's in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and he's a place where you can get used panels for a really good price if you're into that kind of thing. I'll just go ahead and see if I could drop his link in here again. Bean Brothers. So also today is my Bouger V panel came today. I did not open it. I did not check it. I'm gonna check it tomorrow. I just put it in my garage to get it off of the porch. I wasn't gonna mess with it today. Today wasn't a particularly sunny day, but I did all right. I'm getting to the point, y'all, just to keep it a buck. I'm getting to a point where y'all know I have been progressing into this space of not wanting to be so bogged down by managing my power stations. I still don't mind doing it, but the main thing for me is that they're so small and they get full so fast. We talked about this before, but a 100-watt panel, according to the people, and it's my experience as well. Not technically, I haven't tested it, but you get about 500 watt hours per day out of a 100-watt panel. So having a bunch of 300-watt power stations, it becomes a little like annoying because then I have to like manage that. And I don't mind doing it, but if I could get to the place where I get bigger power stations and then I just know that, okay, boom, the Alcatel P501, which I can't charge from solar because I don't have a tip that fits it. Can you turn that down a little bit, babe? Hey, babe, is it hard for you to hear me? Okay, I feel like your TV's a little loud. That doesn't make any sense looking at the numbers, but what you doing?
Is there anything else
Yes.
you would like from me?
I didn't need you to get up that time. You got up on your own. There's many things I would like from you.
Like what?
I can't enumerate them at the moment.
Water.
I'm not gonna say it, but you know, what are the kids gonna eat tonight?
I'm thinking about it. Probably pizza. Or whatever it is for.
True. So what I have right now on my back porch, I have my 200-watt panel, I have a 100-watt HPST, and I have a 100-watt Renogy Eclipse. The Renogy Eclipse typically charges my Jackery, and the HPST typically charges my Rock Pals. Here's the problem with those two scenarios, right? It's manageable, but here's the issue. The Rock Pals maxes out at 72 watts. So if my panel is producing at any point more than that, I can't get it. The Jackery maxes out at 85 watts. Realistically speaking, that's a little more accommodating. But even in that scenario, it's 300 watt hours and it doesn't have the capacity of taking the full 100 watt hours. I did not start out with having the Jackery on that panel. I started out with having the OOPS on that panel, but the OOPS was being ridiculous. So I couldn't take that being over there and possibly not charging. It annoyed me. So, where it resides now, it's in my garage. It's in my garage, charging from a normal Renogy 100-watt panel. And for the most part, it's been working okay. I don't know if it's the Eclipse panel that doesn't make any sense to me. I need to check the specs on the Eclipse, but it should still work. That shouldn't be a problem. I don't want to get stuck there though, but I'm going to look it up anyway. So having bigger power stations is cool. I do have a bunch of bigger power stations, 500 watt hours. I have two OOPS. I have the Alcatel. I have the Sateki. I have the Mylan because they haven't asked for it back yet. I have, that's about it. I think I probably have a couple of them. I have the Smart List, but I never charged that from solar. So I don't have power stations that can take advantage of solar. So with the AC 200p coming into the system, I don't know if I don't think I'm gonna leave it on the bottom floor, but it may actually be better suited for the bottom floor. It may have to stay down there because then that one could I run into these issues with my EB120 where because my deep freezer will use 1,000 watts. Once my deep freezer uses 1,000 watts, my DC charging turns off. It seems to be able to handle the 1,000 watts and anything on AC that surges, but it seems to turn off DC. I'm probably going to test that a lot more closely this summer, especially if I have the AC 200p, because then I could put that on the solar panel, know that I'm getting definite power, right? So then that allows me to free up to test some other devices. So if the AC 200p is down there, I'll probably keep the EB120 down there or bring it up depending on what I need. That gives me a situation where maybe the EB120 comes right here because right over here is a window. And that's the window that typically has our window AC unit in it. So I think about the AC 200P being able to run that. There's a possibility that I may have, I could possibly do two 200-watt panels on my porch, just kind of like up against the wall, put those in series, and then have my AC 200P up here, and then still have the 320 downstairs running into the EB 120.
Like, are people interested in what you're talking about?
I don't know. They still around. My wife asked, "Are people interested in what you're talking about?" Just my musing out loud. I don't know.
When my eyes glossed over like a long time ago, I want to put this in my front porch and this on my back porch.
The numbers ain't go down. I'm still at like 40, so I'm doing right.
Yeah.
Right. The picture seems better now. Thank you. Yeah, the little Wi-Fi thing went away, so that's cool. I hate that it's gonna be bad for all of that time. It may go away again. It may come back. What's going on, Day One Fishing? Good to see you. Don D, what's happening? Congratulations. MJ said congratulations. What's going on, Silver Surfer? Good to see you. We are here because we also have partners whose eyes gloss over when we talk about this stuff. That's what Setai said.
What?
He said, we are here because we also have partners whose eyes gloss over when we talk about this stuff. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, man.
I guess I'm in good company now.
There you go. You are.
Well, that's good to know.
I have not tried 12-volt coolers. A company was about to send me one, and I was excited about trying it and testing it out. But they sold out because I imagine they may have sent them to more than just me. So maybe those people that they sent them to, their users or their viewers bought them. So they were like, yeah, we had to suspend the partner of the influencer program. I don't know why they use the word suspend, but you know. Yes, the small stations present a problem. I want to see if there's a way to plug one panel into multiple stations at once. Actually, Tennessee Frank, T and Frank asked me about that. And I was just, when you start talking about the stuff you were talking about, Setai, um, I was thinking about T and Frank and how he wanted to figure out a way to use one solar panel to charge multiple power stations, which is an interesting idea. It could work, I guess. You know, if you have a power station that bottoms out at like 10 volts or 12 volts, and you can take a panel, I guess I don't know. Don't get me to talk about stuff I have no expertise in. But I certainly wished him well with that. But I don't think he tried it. I have some 12-volt coolers. They work well. Two of them are plugged into AC right now. One keeps a bunch of nuts at 45 degrees Fahrenheit so they don't get rancid. Interesting. And the other freezes flour we buy to kill any bug eggs that might be in it. Man, that's interesting, man. CJ said, exactly. My husband hates talking solo with me. You heard me, babe? She in the zone, parenting zone. I have the 55 quart cooler. That is my new semi deep freezer running on my EB70. That's what's up. There's one renewed EB240 for sale on Ali for $499. It's like, that is interesting. $500 for 2,400 watt hours on paper. That's appealing, but not appealing to me because it's just more capacity. I told y'all before, it's the same issue I had with the EcoFlow Pro and the battery and all that jazz. All it gave me was capacity. So I need to get my inverter game up. The AC200P is going to give me that. I will never go back to an ice chest again. Turbo coolers are the way to go. Yeah, we use coolers when we go to like the amusement park and stuff like that. So I was looking forward to being sent one. I don't know if it's enough for me to buy one, right? But if I could get sent one, then absolutely, I would think that I think that would be dope. I've got a 12-volt Alpacool dual zone. Now, what made you guys get into these 12-volt freezers? Is it like just like what got you into a space where you wanted so much to have something in that? Like, what got you there? I know day one fishing fishes, you know what I mean? I kind of understand that. And I know there's a preparedness aspect to it because it runs off of low power draw. But what got you there? I feel like that's interesting. I'm curious, about your answers. I've been using a Bodega DC fridge with unit 24/7 in my office with the AC to DC adapter since September. I like it. Hey, Sister B. Sister B, I was trying to find your number, but then I realized that I had never texted you. So I didn't have an easy way to find a way to reach out to you because I talked to a few people, so I wasn't sure. But how is your situation working out? I'm gonna read your comment in a second. My son is calling me. Are you okay, Sai? What's up? Yeah, that's fine. Babe, what did you tell him no for something that he's asking me about? Oh yeah, well mommy said no YouTube, man. I'm sorry, you can watch Netflix. Don't start that whining. Have you thought about trying to get a hold of an FF Power 2000 watt or UPS to run your freezer? I was impressed by Lead Former 73's review. I have not thought about that. Jason Noy just mentioned something somewhere where he was saying FF Power is formerly known as Babine. So I think that that's interesting. I like the Babine 500 watt hour one. Alcatel has a similar one. That's the one that I wanted Alcatel to send me. I don't know. I'm not into the off the beaten path once I get into like a certain dollar amount. And then there's some issues going on with their Alcatel P 2001. I know Alcatel is not FF Power, um, but I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting that it has a UPS feature. I didn't watch Les video. I didn't know he had a video on it. But I feel like I have watched something about it. I think maybe I have to look into it. I like anything that has a UPS because that's real true pass through power. It like avoids your battery altogether, but that doesn't necessarily benefit me because I want solar pass through. That's another thing I'm excited to see if my AC200P has when it gets here, which is that PV priority mode. I don't know if it will. I think it's something that's on the AC200 Max and then the AC300, but I'm going to check. That's for sure. I don't have one yet. I'm still a Stacks prepper and must have one for my prepping side of my personality. I dig that. I dig that 100%. My full size freezer was sucking up power and little or nothing in it. Yeah, just me and dad and three dogs. How's your dad doing, Yvette? Camping in low power is why MJ got into the 12-volt freezers. Gotcha. Yeah, that has been in stock for a while. I was going to snag it, but I don't want lithium ion. I have hundreds of 18650s. I need to utilize that first. That's what's up. I dig that. Getting four of the Renew EB240s and a ton of used panels could power a small house for 3,000. Yeah, but it's that 1,000 watt inverter. I can't jive with that. Especially because like if you need to run anything else, right, then you have to manage that. And you got to do what you got to do if you're trying to get off grid power, you know? I had a whatever that is cooler when I worked food for delivery to keep cold food with me. Now compressor units exist. I upgraded to those because it's nice to keep stuff ice cold and frozen when out of the house. Yeah, and not wet. That was one thing that Led talked about when he was doing his videos on his Booch RV freezers. Hey, Stacy. I'm starting to set up to be off grid in the desert in New Mexico for a small shed and yurt. Kitchen and shower will be in the shed. What ideas for solar without a full blown $30,000 system? That's a very loaded question because what happens is typically people like their needs get met straight on with their finances, and then you got to make it work. So it's hard to say what would be sufficient. I mean, yeah, it's a super personal question, but you can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, or solarquestions at askive.com if you kind of want to air it out a bit more. Sometimes I even have calls with people because it's just easier to talk at a certain point. I don't default to that, but it has happened. But I imagine for a start, right? If you're a single person, you can't go wrong with spending like 2 grand on something. You know, the Bluetti would be my way because their devices have LiPo batteries. It makes them a little bit heavier, but that could be a problem with you having 2 locations right next to each other. But they're not that much heavier. I mean, the AC 200P and the AC 200 Max are about 60 pounds. Um, their 300 gets a little heavier, but it's divided into multiple modules. The inverter and all the stuff up top is one module that you could carry on your own, and then the battery is a second module that you can move as well. And those dips are typically about 2,000 watt hours, 2,000 watt inverters. So if you could kind of jive that with what kind of power draw you have, then you can make it work. It's like, listen, people will make it work. You know what I mean? It's like you will make it work. If you can't run a certain stuff, you just can't run it, or you supplement it with a gas generator. If California hasn't taken it from you, right? Forcibly come into your homes. I saw I saw an HOA. I was watching something, and then the HOA told people they had to leave their garage doors open or something. It was weird, man. Just weird stuff. Yeah, I think if I got a DC fridge, I would probably not use my little mini fridge anymore. I mean, my wife would probably want to use it because she don't care about how I feel about stuff. What you looking at, fam? Mind your business. Stay in there with your weird pet videos. What you watching? Just see that. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I think Jason already did a review on it. You could be right. I take one on camping trips before I've got my little camper plugged into shore power. Shore power. I never knew if it was shore power. I presume that it was shore power, but at one point I was like, is it shore power or shore power? Anyway, cool. That's what's up. That's good to hear. I'm using mine now, actually, the Alcatel P 2001. They did have an issue. Jason and I made a video about that issue, but they seem to be on top of it. I guess they rectified, or they're rectifying the situation. Don't get me to talking about it. Let Jason or be your guide on that. Yeah, put water jugs in it to freeze. If the power goes out, you can use them as ice blocks to keep your refrigerator cold. An empty fridge also uses more power than a fridge that's full. Um, or whatever. You know what I mean? You don't want to fill it so much that the cooling can't happen. But the more stuff you have in there, that helps to maintain the temperature in your fridge. And also something that I've talked about before is I haven't tested this personally, but in theory, you don't have to keep your refrigerator plugged into your power station. I would kind of aim to run it like maybe every 3 hours or so just to maintain that temperature, as long as you're keeping the refrigerator closed. They say the refrigerated portion of your fridge can stay good for up to 4 hours if unopened. Every time you open it, that cold air rushes out and then it has to cool again, right? So if you keep it unopened, you don't have to keep your fridge plugged in. And sometimes your fridge is not even necessarily, well, my mini fridge is not necessarily running. I actually kind of wiggled my fridge yesterday because it's in a pretty snug space, to kind of see how well it will move. I wonder if it has swelled in that space or not. I hope it hasn't, because at some point it will die and we will have to pull it out of there. Thank you, sir. A couple of coins. I appreciate that. They'll just pass through the electricity. That's what's up. Thanks, Don. I appreciate it greatly. Anytime people say thanks for coins, it's a good look. Start by getting a watt meter. Yes. Or read the labels on the stuff that you have to kind of get an idea of how much power your stuff uses. This is for the person above that was talking about their yurt and the other thing. Sister B, FF power is identical to the Alcatel. Doing more solar panel research. Was interested in the 200 watt rock pals after the 100 watt video, but reviews don't seem that good. 200 watt rock pals. 200 watt rock pals. How much is it? Because South Padre Q is in Texas. I think she's in northern Texas, and she still has 3 panels for sale. The Bluetti SP200s. I don't know what the price was, but she barely used them. If she used them once, I think she unboxed them and maybe used them once to make sure that they work. But she wanted rigid panels, so she's trying to get rid of her SP200s by Bluetti. The Bluetti AC300 battery expansions are 80 pounds each. There you go. That wife joke had me dead. You gonna get my turbo fridge runs for 4 days off of the EB70. That's what's up, man. Everything has some issues with one of his EB70s. Is the capacity the same though? I'd have to look at that a little closer. He said, yeah, 12 volt fridge is just a mini fridge that runs on 12 volt, probably better insulated too. I imagine that for sure. Those little dorm fridges, I imagine is super inefficient. I bet they use less power. Maybe I'll do a video comparing a mini fridge to a DC fridge. My man, hey, go ahead, you do that. You do it, I'll watch. I'll watch and then I'll share. I will never live in an HOA. Me either. Ain't no way I'm gonna have people telling me what I can do. No, never. I bought it for a Patriot, not fond of it, but I didn't know what I was doing. Still may return it, have 300 in panels. It's working for a small fridge is all I need right now. Please return it. If you're in a return window, you should return it. That's for sure. I don't know if you have watched my Patriots video. It's one of the only critical videos of the Ford Patriots until today. Hobotech made like a satirical video about Ford Patriots. So I will return it. It's funny because I turned their ads off on my video. Hobotech still lets their ads run on his, and he's like, "Yeah, you guys are paying me for ads," and it was a cool video. Nice. HOA is like being on probation. Here go Joe Trot, Biden Day. That's not cool. That is not cool. Not cool. I was glad YouTube blocked your video, your comment last time, Joe. That's what I be talking about, man. You be a little out of pocket sometimes. And YouTube, Mama YouTube was like, "Oh, hold up, Joe. Hold up. Relax." You reading? Yeah. Oh, now I got your attention. Babe, you need to come and read with your daughter. You gonna say hi? Look at that's you. Oh, JoJo's never over here. You gonna say hi, JoJo?
Hi.
Oh, you want to be silly? Get out of here, weirdo.
No.
Okay, I can't read with you, Mama. Daddy's busy. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me.
So y'all don't watch
Hmm.
TV?
Thanks, I appreciate that.
All right,
Thank
well,
you,
y'all
thank
gonna
you,
do it
thank
anyway.
you, thank
Y'all
you.
know.
It was. I enjoyed it, especially at the end. He was like, "Suck my." My wife stopped and turned around, like, "What?" Off the chain. Off the chain. That video, man. That video. Dang it. Thank you, I can. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. I have to open up my other browser here. Like I said, I have restarted, so I don't have anything open. Man, hamburger's been in there for like
Okay, well, get out of her chair.
a week.
Can't sit in her chair. You want a hamburger? You want a hamburger or pizza?
Boop, 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 boop. Pardon me, guys. Pardon me. So I don't have sun for like the next
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich or not?
10 days, man. It's ridiculous. Sometimes it peeks through. Yeah, it's literally it's gonna be cloudy until next Sunday. This is not cool.
They about to drink it.
Oh yeah. I feel like you should have them go upstairs while you get it together. All right. Remember, YouTube is owned by Google, so it's Big Brother. Google that. Does the centering. Hey, I need y'all to get it together. This is not run through the den time, okay? I feel like you took away screen time and now they running wild. Thank you, Kimber Jack. I appreciate that. Yeah, go watch my video. Hobo Tech's video is funny, but it's not. It kind of, it's a satirical kind of thing. It's like this whole thing. My video is like 4 minutes to kind of give you what you need to know about Four Patriots. Hey. We gonna both take credit. She likes to take credit too, but we gonna all take credit. Your daughter is all Dell, but your oldest son is you. Tomorrow will be sunny, so I'm able to charge my EcoFlow. Man, I did not know you had an EcoFlow. I don't know how that slipped my mind. So I'm in a position, right, where I have the bull bat. The bull bat has been holding me down. I have two power stations downstairs. Uh, the EB120 and the bull bat. The bull bat kind of maxes out at 136, right? So I have to think about how I'm gonna work these things out, and I'm looking forward to it so much, so very much. Had nothing but rain and clouds for a week now. Next week it's gonna be the same. That's tough. It's rough being a northerner. That is for sure. I haven't said much about it because it lived in the Faraday can until I got the Alcatel CN501. I got you. That's essentially like your Faraday can is my in use. If something is in use, it's essentially like locked off. And my power stations have been getting like really good power lately to the point where my Go Labs is just upstairs full. My smart list, I don't really use that a whole lot. It's upstairs full. Um, the Sevcoms. Oh, you know what? Something I wanted to talk to y'all about. These little power banks, right? I use these power banks to run my cameras. I have a couple. This one is an Anchor. All of them are actually Anchors. I don't have RAV Power or anything. This is an Anchor, interesting one. Um, it's 20,000 milliamp hours, which is like 20 amp hours, but it's 20 amp hours at like 3 point something volts, right? That's where these things get weird. But if you look at the writing on these, you can see, or you may have to look up the specs, but they're starting to now put the watt hours on here. So this is I think this one is 73 watt hours. Those little USB cameras, they only use 5 watts. I like them that they're so power light. So I don't run my cameras all day. I mean, we have a camera or two that we run all day, sadly, but we have small kids, so we kind of have to compromise, China Watt looking in on us. Um, I hate that these cameras have to go through the internet, but I'm not gonna make it about that. I would have loved to have a camera that was local. There are applications that do that on your network that you can install on a phone. It's like IP cam or something like that. But my wife was never a fan of it because it was inconvenient. She does not like to be inconvenienced. And I get it, something as it relates to the safety of your kids. Hey guys, y'all are not going to be able to do that right now. Y'all are not going to be able to do that right now. It's too loud. So I don't run my cameras during the day. I only run them at night. And this will last me a good 2.5 days of running my cameras off of them. I am still concerned about somebody trying to come and take my panels. The bigger panel is going to be a little tough, but it is what it is. It ain't particularly heavy. So I still need to make a trip out to Home Depot or Lowe's to see about a way to secure my panel. It's like, come on, man. You want to play around. Mommy just told you to go sit down. You know what wouldn't have happened if you sat down? You wouldn't have hurt yourself. Stop with the noise.
Sit on the couch and relax.
I feel like you could probably put something on that's better than baseball. So anyway, I have a couple of these, and I have more than a couple cameras. I only use two constantly. I have Wise cameras and I have Yi cameras. I really like the Wise V3 cameras. I thought about buying another one because they have much better low light performance than the version 2s that I have. I got two version 2s off of the marketplace for like $20. And I think they go for like 60 or 50, or they went for something crazy like that at the time. And they were like brand new. Actually, this is one right here. I don't even use this one. This is my floating camera. And I have a couple Yi cameras around here. I actually thought about giving a Yi camera away, but I don't know if I would use it in the future, right? I may still give a Yi camera away. I don't know if y'all would be into that. I feel like y'all cats are into solar. I don't know if y'all would be into tech stuff. For example, I bought a new one of these. This is a Bluetooth adapter for wired headsets. I actually have a couple of these. So because I have not found, this is what it looks like. And this one's cool. It has a little screen on it. So it tells you what it's connected to. Because I have not found Bluetooth headphones that I like, I just bought this to use with my wired headphones. And it gives you a little bit of freedom. It's not as nice as having the dips in your ear or whatever. So I got a couple of those. All right, where am I going with this? This is my first one. This was called the Jabra Clip. And I love the idea of this. This was before, like, I feel like small compact Bluetooth headphones were a thing. So it has a headphone jack and it has a charge port. Dang, that thing must have came off. Interesting. But the volume was so low on this, I couldn't use it out in public. I used to ride the bus a lot to work. And, I don't want to people. So I always needed to have music. So I got this one first. I got this one second. This one was to replace this one. And it works pretty good, but it's micro USB. So I try to get away from micro USB when I can. So what I did was I was hoping the new version of this would be smaller, but it is not. So I was a little disappointed in that. I think I'm going to keep this one and put it in my car so that we can have some Bluetooth connectivity in the car. So what this will do is, let me show you something like this. headphone jack on both ends. You can plug this into here, plug this into your car thing. I wouldn't do this. I would use a cable. I don't like having stuff hanging out of ports because it's light, but you can still damage your port by having constant weight on it. So it's something to be mindful of. And then your phone will connect to this wirelessly, and then you have added Bluetooth to your old school car that does not have Bluetooth built in. Or this thing can be connected to your phone, and then you plug your wireless or your wired headphones into it, which is pretty good for something like Bose headphones before they went wireless, right? I bring all of that up to say I'm really big on like giving stuff away. I don't give a whole lot of my stuff away, but if somebody wanted to have a pair of headphones and relax, not too loud of audio, you can have this. I don't know how well it works. I just charged it up today. It actually should work just fine. It should be fine. But would y'all want stuff to be given like away like that? I feel like all it needs is one person to be interested in it. Can I turn this on? Yeah, it just turned on. And then it'll synchronize. You plug some headphones in, boom. Let me see what y'all snapping and trapping about. I also would give this one away. This one works really good, and it has transmit and receive on it. I'm not going to get into what the two differences are because I don't fully comprehend. I don't feel like my brain going there, but that's something that's interesting. And I have these little things that, if y'all want them, y'all can have them. They're just going to sit in a drawer. Y'all should see some of these drawers. I don't have a ton of stuff, but I like to keep stuff because if it still works, why throw it away? So I'd rather just give it to people who can use it. I hardwired my Delta Pro to my hearing aids. It runs forever, but my left arm is huge now from carrying it around. Here we go. I'm interested because I don't have Bluetooth in my car. Now, Kimberjack, what I would have to do is you would have to get this one because I don't think this one is loud enough to be useful. This would only be useful to somebody who is like, yeah, I want to be able to kind of like lay down and not have the wire running into my actual phone. So what that does is your phone is wireless, but you still have this kind of tether to you because the volume is kind of low. It could work inside the house maybe, but if you were interested in one, you would want this one. So I'll look at the comments. Actually, just comment after the live. You know how we do stuff before and say, I'm interested in the Bluetooth adapter. If you're interested, and then I'll pick people who can have these. Just figure it out. Are you familiar with the Big Blue 296 watt hour? I wonder if it's really lithium iron phosphate. I'm not familiar with that one. I have seen it, but I didn't pay close attention to it. I could look at it now. Give me a second. I had 3 Godzilla cameras. They went out of business. Interesting. I could get Bluetooth by my hearing aids, but Bluetooth isn't allowed where I work. That's interesting. I run my camera off of my Watt Fund for like 4 to 5 days before I put a charge on it. Yeah, I dig that. I dig that 100%. I've been running one of the cameras off of here. I'll use my Jackery with it. Actually, that's why I have the Energizer here, because what happened for a while is my little USB packs weren't charged up. The reason why I like the little, I have one right here. The reason why I like these is because I could just sit them on my window ledge, and then I don't have to worry about having a power station or a long cable. I also use these. Actually, let me tell you about something else about this. The V3 version of the camera, the Wise camera, is weatherproof. And it has a little pigtail of a USB that has a covering that'll go over the connector. And I had this idea of putting this in a Ziploc bag, running the cable into the Ziploc bag, fastening it up as much as I can, because I have overhangs over my porch, and my upstairs balcony. So even though it gets wet up there, it's not going to get drenched. If it gets wet at all, you could kind of put it somewhere. And I thought about doing that to put it out there to wash my panels. The option that gives me is I can have a battery source outside that's not tied to any particular big thing that couldn't get wet. I can have something small like this, put it in a Ziploc bag, have that camera pointed right down in my driveway to look right at my panels. That's something I would like to figure out a better way to do that. But that's the only idea I could come up with to meet my need in the moment. I haven't done that in a while. I did it a bit last summer, but that's something that I think about. But this is small. I like the fact that this is small because I don't like those super long cables. I will put these dips on a table and kind of point it at my kids when I have to do something that requires me to be able to like keep an eye on them. I'll also take a camera, put it on a battery bank, and put it outside. And then some of these cameras have two-way microphones on it. So I'll just turn the microphone and the speaker on. And then I'm watching them outside. The camera is outside, so I get better audio. I can hear what's going on, and then I can talk to them. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. I still need to get some walkie-talkies. There are a couple walkie-talkies on the marketplace. I reached out to one person and I offered them like a dub or something like that because it's like this older version of these Motorola's. They're brand new, but they're older. They don't even make them anymore. So I offered them a dub. We'll see what they say. And then there's somebody about 45 minutes away who has a pair that I reached out to before, but Facebook wasn't sending messages to people. I reached out to a bunch of people about a bunch of things, and they never really, you know what I mean? All right, let's see. Okay, Setai says, I'm probably going to throw all my wise stuff out after the fact that they didn't tell people about security vulnerability for years. I didn't know that was for years. I actually just sent Wayne a video about a vulnerability that happened. But they were saying that it wasn't, that person, that one video I watched said that they handled it decently compared to some other companies. But I hear you. I hear you. I ain't mad at that at all. One string of lights is on a timer and a solar powered. I love it. I don't like those string lights. I struggle with those. But I don't be out in the forest and stuff. So I look at them and it'll be like 100 feet of lights, 50 feet of lights. It's like, where am I going to do with that? I like the little USB light bulbs. They work out okay. And I'll start using my power station light, diffuse lights more often. I wanna get a power bank. I don't want to get a power bank. Let me take that back. Yeah, I'll take all that back. I was gonna say I would like to get a power bank that has wireless charging in it, but I think I would pay too much for that. Oh, the 60-watt panel came yesterday. If you follow me on Instagram, then you know that. Y'all should follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting videos over there, a little casual stuff that's not like algorithm friendly, just solar stuff that doesn't have an immediate benefit to live on YouTube. So I posted over there. The interesting thing about this panel, I'll take it out and show you because I opened the box. The interesting thing about these folding panels is this one is a little smaller. Let me get MJ's comment all the way. This one is a little smaller, but it's not that much smaller than the Rockpals. So you have a situation where you're getting 60 watts, right, on this little bitty panel, and it's like a 6-way fold. I talked about it on one of the other lives. It like folds out into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little panels that you spread out. But the thing that I have to deal with is the fact that compared to the Rockpals, I wonder if I should just take the Rockpals, and then I would get more power in a quad fold panel, right? Because it's very comparable. I wish I had the Rockpals around, but it's on the landing going downstairs. I used to have it right over here with the Renogy, but I moved them. So it's an interesting little dip. I look forward to looking forward to it. The thing that I'm most excited about with these things are accessories. There are tips in here and stuff like that. Bum 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 bum. 2% if you're still around. If I don't reach out to you or something in the future to say that I reached out to Agwe, feel free to remind me. Shoot me an email. Hey, Delgada. Hey, Delgada. Let's see. Let's see. If I missed any questions that people have, please feel free to post them again. What kind of wide stuff do you have? And what was the extent of the vulnerability? Okay. Nice. You can find cheap FRS radios all over the place. Yeah, but the things are so bulky and ugly, man. I'm not into that. I'm a sleek, svelte kind of guy, and I'm kind of trying to get out of it for functionality's sake. But I still want to like what I'm carrying around, and it's just like, man, those things be like security guard walkie-talkies. I'm not into that. I don't have good feelings about the Aviva stuff. I'm not really impressed with it. But what you talking about it being on sale, S180, $60 ship with coupons on eBay. I don't know. I feel like you would kind of buy into that, and then maybe 6 to 12 months down the road it wouldn't work. What are those magnets? Yeah, don't put them on electronics, guys. Magnets can mess up electronics. What's up, C Holmes? Good to see you. Now, Stacks, do you have more than one channel, or is this your other channel? Because I know you changed the name a little bit. I was over there looking, man. I'm waiting for the videos. I have a 30,000 milliamp hour power bank with wireless charger from Amazon for $38. It's by Giga. If you do a search for it, I love it. Disclaimer: it feels like a brick, but I like it for protection in my purse. I ain't mad at that. I'm also super picky, right? So, because I use my stuff heavy. 30, and then so some things I would look for in a power bank is, does it do PD charging? When you get that big, does it do dual charging? 30,000 milliamp hours. If my 20,000 milliamp hours like 73 watt hours, that's probably like 100 and some odd watt hours, which is interesting when you think about that in contrast to something like the Bowden's, which is 166 watt hours. But it's this much bigger because it has all of that stuff for solar charging, the MPPT, the AC adapter, the 12 volt and all that jazz. Whereas like these power banks are just batteries and DC USB circuitry, so they can be a lot smaller. But two of these freaking things is like the capacity of my Bowden's, right? If it's truly 76 watt hours, I got them kind of around, so they're not close by. But bum 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 bum. What you looking at? Did they eat yet?
For the most part.
What you looking at? You checking my time?
No, how many people are still there?
Oh, how many people still here? Hey, we 36, so 3 people said, man, I'm wilding, man. I gotta go. My Halo power bank has wireless charging and will jump my car. That's interesting, that stuff with jumping cars and things. It's very, very interesting. I don't really get into that. I think the solar panel has car jumping cables. I needed to jump every once in a while because I don't drive our second car that often, especially with that Rona. My grandmother used to carry a brick in her purse in case personages tried to rob her. So I'm carrying on the tradition. I ain't mad at that. Dang, that's tough. Jeez. I have a bunch of first-gen cameras. Apparently, for 3 years, they hit a bug that allowed hackers to remotely access your cameras. They can't watch live, but they can make it move and view recordings. That's interesting. I don't really do the recording, so that's interesting. Nice. Thanks for sharing. The Aviva works great. Your wife used it with an electric blanket. Had it for 5 months. That's not a bad idea, right? Smack somebody upside the head. I need to get a smaller Thule. I don't necessarily like the Thule that we have. I like options too, right? Let me show y'all how much I like options. This is how much I like options, y'all. Move it over, move it over. I don't know if you could tell, but look at that size compared to that size. Let me get if that's coming off the page. And then this is one of my smaller phones. So I'll be the same way with pistols. I like options, and this isn't. I get deals on phones, by the way. I'm not just throwing my money away. Like this one was free. This one I got used off the marketplace for like 200. This is a One 7, I think. Um, I'm actually scheming on getting an iPhone 11, but Metro by T-Mobile does not have. There's another phone. Is two of my older Nexuses. They're not both mine. One of them is Dell's, and then another one is mine. Here is another iPhone SE that I got for free, right? Uh, iPhone 8 that I got for how much did I get this for? Maybe like $150 on a port-in deal from Cricket. It's locked to Cricket, but I just use it for Wi-Fi. I always have tethering, and I use it to record like our family vlogs and stuff like that. I have a lot of phones. I do. What's up, sleeper? What time is it there, man? It's freaking morning. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. There you go, scheming again, man. I'm a recovered schemer. I'm a recovered schemer. So let me put y'all on game, right? I have a service by Visible. Visible Wireless is basically Verizon wireless service, but offered by what's called an MVNO, a mobile virtual network operator. What they do is they buy or rent or lease spectrum from the main carriers and they sell it to you cheaper. Here's a secret, and Wayne enlightened me a bit too. I didn't know whatever, but cell phone service is not expensive, right? The reason why, and I discovered this recently because Sprint had a deal that they only offered online, and it was for unlimited everything, and it was like $25. And I read an article or something somewhere where they said basically because they because they only offer that online, they don't have to worry about training employees. They don't have to worry about people walking into stores. They don't have to worry about advertising it. So the reason why you pay so much money for cell phone service is because all of these things are included in your cost. This stuff is not expensive. Mint Mobile, who is one of our favorites, you can get 12 months of service, 4 gigs of data, and unlimited calls and texts for $15 a month. You just got to buy 12 months of service. So $15 a month. I have Hello Mobile service on this particular one. Hello Mobile service gives you unlimited calls and texts for $5, and they include data. That's unheard of. So I use this for like work calls. You know what I mean? It's like conference calls that I need to jump on that are not Teams related. So I have Visible, and I'm thinking about using Visible to get a port in on Metro by T-Mobile because I can always just sign up for Visible again, right? So if I could port that number out to Metro, I could probably get an iPhone 11 for like $250 and hopefully a little less. And that includes the first month of service. That may even include something else, but the phone is like $50 after you port in a number. But they, of course, I think they want you. So I called a dude and I was like, how much can I get this deal for out the door? The sad part is nobody has an iPhone 11 in stock because it's a super old phone. I want the iPhone 11 because it's the first iPhone that has the actual wide angle screen in it, which will be good for me and my family as it relates to being vloggers It would be good for making content kind of on the go because then I have a phone in hand that I could use and not have to rely on having a camera. Let me see what y'all think about the thoughts.
Get the magnet, guys. I don't want her getting to them.
My 13-year-old has Simply Mobile with all the same stuff I have, thinking about switching from T-Mobile. Now, you got to have a little bit of tolerance for being deprioritized. It also depends on where you live. If you live in a super populated area, and I don't mean just a city, but if you live in a super populated area around like 4 o'clock when everybody's on their phone, especially when we're not dealing with the pandemic, then you may get slower speeds than everybody else. Like the Verizon customers take priority. The T-Mobile customers take priority. If you get to a point where one, you use too much data, you get deprioritized. And two, if the network gets congested, then you get deprioritized. So, excuse me. But with how fast this stuff is now, I mean, it may suck, but you're saving a ton of money. A ton of money. Two lines, all unlimited. That's nice. You have a very good Blue Yeti Max and extra battery, very cheap in the USA. Okay, what you mean? I'm in Maryland and I don't use my phone much. Yeah, I mean, you could try any of them. The thing that I like about Visible is it's with Verizon. It's $25 when you get on a party play plan. I think it's $35 when you don't. But you have to get on a party play plan that has more than 4 people on it. And it used to be maxed out at 5, but now it's unlimited. So I'm on like a party play plan with like my cousin or something like that. It keeps your stuff separate. The only way that it is connected is that y'all are on the party play plan. You have your own login. It's not like the family and friends from back in the day where you kind of had to add somebody to your account and then y'all had to work out how you were going to pay it and all that jazz. It's really convenient and straightforward. And plus, I have the reliability of Verizon. If I have slower data, then that's fine. But I also like to diversify my cell phone carriers. So I'll have Visible, but I also have Hello Mobile, which runs off of T-Mobile. The cheapest you can get like unlimited phone calls and a little bit of data was H2O Wireless for like $10 until I got with Hello Mobile. I have like 3 lines with Hello Mobile. My wife has one on her second phone, and I have 2 lines. I have one on this phone right here is my OnePlus 7 or whatever. It's with T-Mobile. It's like unlocked. This one does not have anything Google on it. Let me see if I could kind of show y'all that. It has nothing Google on it. So you can see I have like New Pipe and New Pipe is what right there. Nothing. It's a de-Googled phone. So Google has none of their hooks in this one. What that means for me is if I ever wanted to leave the house and I wanted Google to think that I'm home, I would take this one. Now, of course, if somebody really was vested in, then they could dig in and link stuff together. But the thing is, just like with alarm systems and lighting your house, you want to make yourself a less easier target so that people can go after somebody else. Am I back, y'all? Yeah, I think so. I think I am back. Man, shout out to the 12 who hung around. I don't mean to shame the other ones who left. I would have left too, maybe. Okay, y'all see this face? This is the face of a woman who internet dies on her way more than it should.
Multiple times a week. I was feeling so just eating it up, looking at them, just looking at them. Then I like plugged it all back in wrong, so it made the delay a lot longer and getting reconnected. That wasn't on purpose.
Yeah.
I deal with this multiple times a week, so it felt kind
What
of
what's multiple times?
more than once.
I feel like twice a week.
I feel like 2 to 3 times is like the average.
So what happened was
His power station.
just just to bring the point home. Oh, maybe she hit him.
Okay, Saya. I mean, like, come on. Okay, rub it until it stops hurting.
So bring the point to bring the point home.
Take it off of her so she don't hit you again.
My EcoFlow River is just 200 and whatever watt hours. That's really the problem. I bought the extra battery. I've talked about this before, but that battery was not functioning. That battery has been sent off. So the problem that I'm running into is it doesn't have enough capacity to maintain these loads for the amount of time that I needed to. I actually plugged it into the oops, and the oops must have ran out of power, and then it died because the oops wasn't full to begin with. So that's my bad. That's definitely my bad. I don't even know where it cut off. So, but the good thing is during a replay, I'm gonna be able to go ahead and edit this spot out. Leave a little black in there just for real life. Anyway, just a full back strikeout. Nah, it's down in the basement. Did I at least finish my thought? Because I feel like I said this has been your mobile whatever for the night. I hope I finished that. I'm not sure. My wife really does not like when stuff turns off on her like that. Actually, what's running the TV is the jackery, and the jackery is shored up by a oops that is more fully charged. The plan was to have the EcoFlow, which I don't like that the EcoFlow doesn't have bi-directional charging because it would be a lot easier for me to supplement and push power into that. And actually, just to keep it a buck, what happened with that is I had the 12-volt adapter in the oops and it kept popping out. So that's why I went AC, but the AC is going to use that power faster and there's going to be some loss. So because I didn't plug it into a power station that was full, it couldn't maintain it for long enough to maintain this stream. My apologies for that. I am sorry, babe. I have to apologize for this way too often. But I have solutions in mind. But then I run into these problems of reliability with these power stations. That's not the EcoFlow's fault. But one time I had the big blue back there running the dip and it died early. So it was just like, so the capacity is becoming a problem for me. I know, right? I need something, but that's what these power stations are supposed to do. And I actually thought about plugging the EcoFlow into the wall. But I don't like using power from the wall if I could avoid it. So that's kind of like why I find myself in these situations. So I need to come up with a better solution. And I have the idea. The idea is solid. Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks. Yeah, it's all learning experience. But I keep learning at my wife's expense. Thank you, Dominique Unique. I ran past time. She went and she unplugged the routers. Like, you overtime, get out of here. That's what you did, babe. You sabotaged my live because I ran over time. No, I don't. What time is it? Dang, it's 10 o'clock. All right, folks, your solution is to have an AC 200 watt max blue eddy. Hey, I appreciate that solution. The real issue is would I want to put something that big behind my TV? I feel like what I need is just something that has like about 500 watt hours and I'll be fine. Because that EcoFlow it wasn't functioning at the rate that it would. That thing, the router only pulls 20 watts. So you know what I mean? It should last like 20 some odd hours. I wouldn't have any problems if I had a power station back there that could take in 200 watts and that was at least 500 watt hours. The EcoFlow can do that, but my battery wasn't functioning properly. And I had been dealing with that for months since I had that thing. It's never like really beasted for me. So What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's gonna be fun shuffling things around. I don't think this EB70 is gonna go anywhere except for maybe downstairs into my garage, maybe because I can't put it by my TV. When it gets over like 80 some odd watts, the fan starts to go on it, and I don't like that sound. I've become accustomed to it in my desk area because it just is what it is. So it will probably go downstairs. Maybe it'll replace the bull bat, and the bull bat will go into the garage. But then what's gonna come right here? I don't know. I don't know. This is gonna be fun figuring it out. Absolutely fun. Y'all get absolute cool points for sticking around. Certainly. Unlimited cool points. What you tell them to go upstairs and do? Get started. What you gonna eat tonight?
Whatever you go and get me.
Ah, I ain't mad at that. You gonna say good night? You gonna say peekaboo? 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 You want more? Peekaboo? um. Okay. I know, right? I just needed to say, y'all, I was sick of talking to y'all, so I sabotaged my own life.
You can just say that.
Just say that. That's all you gotta do is just say it. Just keep it a buck.
No, his power station clunked out like usual.
How old is she?
She is one. Late January.
One. I don't know if you heard that. Late January. 2%. I'm gonna email Agwe. Today is Friday, so I won't hear back from them for another couple of days. And they may not send me the panel. They said they would send it and they're not. They didn't. I haven't gotten it yet. I don't know what else I have that could be useful in that situation that I would be willing to part with. That's it for me, guys. I mean, like tomorrow, I'm gonna open up this Bourgeois V panel. I actually may do it tonight. The video on Patreon is cool. You should go find it and check it out. I may even put the link in this video after I'm done. I still need to record a video for the Sateki power station in the Big Blue. I have the Sevcoms video coming soon. I need to kind of like edit that up a little bit. Once I get that one done, I'm gonna put that one on Patreon too as early access. So the people who go and check the Patreon, you'll have two videos that people who don't check the Patreon will they won't get to watch. You'll get to watch it. And it's like I'm gonna remember something as soon as I turn this off, but I can't think of anything at the moment. I have to count my power stations. I feel like I have a lot of power stations, but I think it's about the same number because I keep giving them away. I'm looking forward to the next one that I'll get to give away. It's either gonna be the Alcatel. I kind of want to hold on to that one for a little bit just to be able to test it a little more. Or the Smartless. I don't know. I got to figure it out. Once I start getting bigger power stations, I'll definitely be getting rid of some of these smaller ones. But the smaller ones are nice to have too. But I don't want to have too many power stations because it's hassle trying to manage them. I'm excited about like working things out. I love being strategic about how I accomplish things. So it's going to be a fun time. I'm going to buy a longer cable for the power station that's in my garage. That MC4 cable is about 20 foot. I feel like I need like a 30. So I'm probably going to do that soon. I'll get a 30-foot cable for that one. And then that'll free up that cable for whatever I want to use that for. I also am thinking about, because right now I have a 190 HQST panel that's just in my garage not being used. That's in conjunction with the 180 watt Bourgeois V panel that I just got today. I thought about doing on my back porch Because right now I have these two 100-watt panels back there, and I don't have power stations that can use these 200-watt panels. Right, any power station I have that can take close to 200 watts is being used on a 200-watt panel. So I can't even put panels in parallel and pop them on the subject because I don't have the power stations. I have a bunch of power stations that are limited to 60 watts, which is annoying. And then the ones that I have that can do a little bit higher than 60 watts, they have these weird ports. So it's really kind of, yeah, it's really kind of annoying. Are you going to give away the Blue Sea AC 200p anytime soon? I'm not even going to answer that. What are you talking about? I'm going to Patreon page for the energy panels. Interesting. Did I put it over there? I think I did. Wait, you don't know how old she is? I talk about math all the time. I'm not good on the fly. I feel like I'm too thoughtful to remember uh, the ages because I think about it in terms of when were they born? Okay, how long has it been? You know what I mean? Instead of just memorize, okay, she's one. You know what I mean? It's like I think about her birthday. You know what I mean? It's like my brain just goes complex on it. But I don't know how old I am most times. So I get a pass on that. I'm not a big holiday milestone kind of guy. And it's not because I'm lazy and won't put forth the effort or anything like that. It's just that I'm not that kind of guy. Nathan is good for power and praise. Hey, I would be interested to see if the EcoFlow extra battery works out. You and me both. That'll be kind of one of the first things I'll be interested in doing. Thank you, C. Holmes. I appreciate that. Oh, if anybody is here, Kimber Jack, just comment after the dip if you're interested in that Bluetooth adapter, and I'll pick somebody and they'll be able to win it. I talked about that. I'll put timestamps in there. I don't think I have anything else I want to part with, but this stuff just sits around here, and I'm not a fan of throwing stuff away, especially if somebody can use it. I'll even give stuff to people indefinitely. Like I gave a family friend my Roku box. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm not using it. Why not? Uh, you know, give it to somebody who can use it. And if I need it back, just give it back to me. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate that. What's the brand of the Bluetooth dip? This one is by a company called Texity. I also have some switches by them, manual switches. Oh, real quick, that's something else that I want to do. I want to get I started researching them, but I want to get like a Bluetooth smart adapter for my EcoFlow. That's another solution that I have for it because then I could always have my EcoFlow plugged into the wall. And then when I see the power is getting low, I could just hit that little switch. And I could do it with a physical switch because I have those switches. I wish I had something that I could show you, but they're so freaking big. They're like this big and round. I could share my screen and all that jazz, but I don't feel like going through all that. So I've been looking into. I don't want to do Wi-Fi. I don't want to have anything Wi-Fi connected. I feel like if you want to kind of infiltrate some of my stuff, you got to be sitting outside in your car and connect to this Bluetooth module and then mess with it that way. I could live with that. But you being able to connect and mess with my stuff from the internet is just I'm not into that. So I've been looking into Bluetooth smart switches, the little circular ones. I'm gonna put my EcoFlow on one of those and then turn it off for the majority of the day. And then that'll be able to charge off of solar. And then on days where the sun is low, then I would be able to maintain it using that switch. Turn it on, set my capacity for charge, move it from whatever it is now to whatever is reasonable. So just for an example, let's say my EcoFlow river is almost dead. It's at like 10-15%, which is something that I do that I shouldn't. So let's just say it's at 20%. It approaches 20%. I notice that throughout the day, solar is done for the day. I will go into the Wi Fi app. I have it connected to the internet. I don't have it connected to my internal network. It's on my external network because I don't want EcoFlow poking around my internal network. I assume that it works that way. I would connect to it, set my rate of charge down to 30%, and then plug it into the wall. In this scenario, I would already have it plugged into the wall, but that switch will be in between it and the plug and have it turned off. The switch will turn on. The max is set to 30. It'll give it that 10%, and then it'll start its UPS mode of passing through the power. That way, I didn't just throw away 250 watt hours from the wall into my power station to get it full. I only threw what 20 watts into it, 15 watts into it to get it up to the 30%. And now it's just passing through the load. That's how I want to be able to use that. And then I'll be able to better accommodate that when the battery comes, if the battery works, because then my internet will be able to run for about 20 hours if that battery lives up to what it's supposed to do. Because a 20 watt load should be able to go into 500 and some odd watt hours. Even on AC, it should be able to go through that in about 20 hours or something like that. And what I do instead of what they tell you to do, which is to multiply the amount of watts that your device uses times 15% to get whatever, I just subtract 15% from my total capacity of my power station. That way I don't have to worry about doing math for each device. So if you have 500 watt hours, you take off 10%, that's 50. You take off half that, that's 75. You got 425 watt hours of capacity. And then something using 20 watts goes into 425, 1 hours. So you know that's how much capacity you'll get. And it'll get a little bit less, maybe, but I do the math off the battery instead of off of the load. I hope that makes sense. Hey, Lauren. I answered that. Okay, I'm really interested in that Bluetooth or Wi-Fi concept. Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure, and it's super convenient. When I get into it, I'll be sure to make a video about it. That's for sure. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. If nobody has any questions, we could call this a night. If y'all have any questions, go ahead and shoot them. If you have a question and it's after the live, comment it after the video. If you're interested in the Bluetooth adapter thingies, comment after the video. The first person to win will probably get the eTech City. I call it eTech City, but I think it's close to electricity, so it's eTech City. And then the second person I pick will get the Jobber one, which is really low. I shouldn't say it's really low. It's just low. So it didn't really work for me. I may test it tonight. Why not? All right, folks, y'all be beautiful. Thank you for your patience. And thanks for hanging out through all of that terrible quality. I'm going to hate watching this video. Dang it. I do use Resilio Sync. I love Resilio Sync. Resilio Sync is fire. I use Resilio Sync. Man, I could get into a whole. We're gonna have to talk about that someday, Joe Tyson. Yeah, I use Resilio Sync. It's on all of my devices. I started using SyncThings as well because it's open source, but it's not as good as Resilio Sync. Resilio Sync will work. What's the drawback? There's a difference between the two. This is why I wanted to do my little random tech videos channel, because I feel like I can't find a video about like just kind of like super easy, casual Resilio Sync versus SyncThing. It's like nobody makes those kind of videos, and I feel like I'd be wanting to watch those kind of videos, so I want to make them. Yeah, I'll get to the point where I'm so particular with that is I'll use a cell phone, something like the Nexus 5X. I'll use that to create a hotspot, and I'll call it like iLight or something like that. And it doesn't have internet, but then I connect two phones to that hotspot, and then those two phones can sync on Resilio Sync because it'll go out and find them on the network, and then I can move data back and forth. I actually have a folder that's on all my phones, or most of my phones, when I carry a whole lot of phones and stuff. I'm a little out of sync with my phones because my Pixel 3 died. But But I have a folder called Mobile Sync, and then that one goes on all of my phones, and I'll have like pictures that I like to use on like Facebook. I'll have certain install APK files in there that I use often, like titanium or whatever disk utility. I'll have screenshots that I take from all of my devices, go into a screenshots folder, and then all of my devices have the screenshots. I don't do that as much because I have a weird kind of phone system right now. I'm kind of in flux. I need to look for a new phone soon, and I typically buy used phones. I don't really buy new phones unless I can get a deal on it. So I was looking at Swapper to see what OnePlus phones were going for because I want a phone that I can root easily, which is to give me administrative access to the phone to allow me to do some things that normal people can't do on their phones for anybody who's not like tech savvy. I use Resilio Sync when I record. Actually, it is right there. I use Resilio Sync when I record a video on my iPhone 8 to drop that footage onto my computer. So I'll go out in the yard and I'll shoot something, and then after I shoot it, I'll drop it into the folder on my computer. Then I grab those files off of my computer and I'll pull them into my editing program and I start editing. It's super convenient. The one thing I don't use it for is the camera backup. I'm a little leery of that because I'm so kind of strategic with my images and my photos that I don't want all my photos being dumped on my computer and then possibly ending up with duplicates, and it's a one-way sync, and I don't mess with it. So Resilio Sync, that was a blip on that. There you go. What's the best foldable 100-watt panel? I don't know much about the 200-watt panels because that gets costly. I feel like the PV from Bluetti is nice because it's wired in parallel, so shading doesn't affect it as much as one wired in series, like the SP200. The best panel for output is the X-Star from what I've seen. It gets about 113 watts of solar power out of it. I actually did a couple of videos, not a couple clips. I was recording the Rockpels video, which I put out. And the Rockpels got 86 watts. The XR got 86 watts too. And the Big Blue got 86 watts. But I don't know if that had to do with haze. Maybe that was just the max performance I could get out of those panels that day because it wasn't a super bright sunny day. But they were very comparable. So I thought that was interesting. Another 200-watt panel. I don't know. I don't think there's many out there that are like reasonably priced. I don't know. But text me, Sister B, just to reestablish that connection because I know we talked. So text me and we could chat about it. We could figure it out. I do that too with Folder Sync on my phone's tablets. I use Resilio Sync on my PCs and the NAS. I dig that. Reminder to look up the Big Blue 296 watt hour. Yeah, the thing for me personally is I'm kind of over 300 watt hour devices. That's why I didn't buy the Litake, the Lataki or whatever it is, because it was 300 watts and the thing wasn't regulated and it was in LiPo. So there was a bunch of like negatives against it. The big wait. Oh no, I'm sorry. Not Big Blue. That's not what you're saying. You're saying Blueable, 296 watt hour. I think I saw that. It's like a new addition. Every now and then, more than every now and then, I search for LiPo power stations, and I saw one new to the list that I didn't see before. So I think I have come across that. I just didn't get into a chance of using it yet. I just use Resilio Sync to get files from my seed box to my home NAS automatically. I love the idea that Resilio Sync, you can tell it not to use the internet. I love stuff that can not use the internet. So that's why I was talking about that example of my phone. I'll use that to create the hotspot. And then those phones can talk separately. It don't have nothing to do with the World Wide Web, Al Gore's World Wide Web. I'm comparing to Tenergy and it's not Big Blue. Yeah. I picked up on that, Caleb. Thanks for that correction. Any updates on the broken bullback shipping? Now, Code Hack, are you the person I'm supposed to be sending that to? Because if so, my apologies. I sincerely apologize. I didn't want to bore you with the details, but it became a whole thing because of hazardous shipping. My wife actually just asked me about it today, and I was just printing out us saving the um, images that I would need to put on it. So I still want to ship that if you're the person who won it. Hello, Ask, how are you and the family? Can you tell me what solar panel you posted that was in the snow, please? That was on the balcony. That was an HQST 190. And then I had two on the balcony. They were bigger panels. The other one was a rich solar, 200 watt. And then upstairs, I had something on my balcony that may have had snow on it, but I don't think I made a video about it. That was a Renogy 100 watt. Okay, cool. I literally, the box is in my hallway. I mean, like, we just pulled it from the thing and she was asking me about it today. I feel terrible, but it became a whole thing. It was just like, man, I already don't like to leave the house to do stuff, but I'm gonna get it done for sure. Um, I'll be able to print that stuff out and package it up and ship it out. Hopefully the shipping is not too crazy because it's a hazardous pickup. I did have to call them to arrange for a pickup for the EcoFlow, so I'm at least familiar with that part of the process. But this process, I have to print the label out through my account and go through weighing it and all that jazz. Not a big deal. I'm not complaining at all. I feel like I want to ship it out for sure. All right, I'm gonna get out of here and go help with bath time. I usually take care of bath time and a nighttime routine for the boys, and my wife is up there doing it. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Hey, maybe I'll go live again this weekend for a quick update if I have one. But y'all be beautiful. I'm out of here. Thanks for hanging with me.